Once upon a time, during a public event that had drawn media attention, a tense moment unfolded between a reporter and the youngest member of the Trump family, Barron Trump. Known for his calm demeanor and preference for staying out of the spotlight, Barron rarely engages with the press. But on this particular occasion, his maturity and quick thinking caught everyone by surprise. It began when Melania Trump, former First Lady and an advocate for several causes, was attending the event as part of her Be Best initiative. The initiative, which focused on children's well-being, online safety, and opioid abuse prevention, had always been a point of pride for her. However, it had also attracted criticism from certain circles, with some questioning her dedication and sincerity. As Melania interacted with the audience and media, a liberal reporter, known for being outspoken, seized the opportunity to ask a provocative question aimed at undermining her efforts. The reporter's tone was dismissive as they framed their question in a way that implied Melania's work lacked substance and was merely a facade. The question was loaded, designed not to seek clarity, but to embarrass and humiliate. Melania, maintaining her composure, responded with grace, reiterating her commitment to her causes and emphasizing the importance of focusing on meaningful work rather than detractors. However, the reporter wasn't satisfied and pressed further, escalating their rhetoric. It was at this moment that Barron, who had been standing nearby, decided to step in. Though only a teenager, he had grown up under intense public scrutiny and had learned a thing or two about handling pressure. With a calm yet firm voice, he addressed the reporter, cutting through the tension in the room. "Why do you feel the need to belittle someone who's trying to make a difference?" Barron began, his words measured but powerful. "If you disagree with her approach, that's fine, but shouldn't we be having constructive conversations instead of tearing people down?" The room fell silent. It was clear that no one had expected Barron to speak, let alone challenge the reporter so directly. His statement wasn't just a defense of his mother. It was a broader call for civility and respect, something that resonated deeply in a world often divided by harsh rhetoric. The reporter, momentarily taken aback, attempted to respond, but Barron wasn't finished. "You criticize her for trying to do good, but what are you doing to make a difference? It's easy to point fingers, but real change comes from action, not insults." His words carried a wisdom far beyond his years, and his calm yet assertive demeanor left a lasting impression. Even those in the room who didn't align politically with the Trump family couldn't help but admire the way Barron had handled the situation. It was a rare moment of authenticity, where the youngest member of the family showed that he wasn't just a spectator in the political arena, but someone capable of standing up for what he believed in. Melania, visibly moved by her son's intervention, placed a hand on his shoulder, signaling her pride and gratitude. The event continued, but the exchange between Barron and the reporter became the talk of the evening. Clips of the moment quickly went viral, sparking debates across social media and news outlets. Supporters of the Trump family praised Barron for his courage and composure, while even some critics acknowledged that his points were valid. The incident became a testament to the importance of respectful dialogue, especially in an era where public figures often face relentless scrutiny. As the days passed, the story continued to make headlines, with many commending Barron for his maturity and thoughtfulness. It was a moment that reminded people of the value of standing up for one's family and beliefs, even in the face of adversity. For Barron, it was simply an act of defending someone he loved, but for the public, it was a powerful example of how to rise above negativity with dignity and grace. In the end, the incident served as a reminder that true strength isn't about dominating others, but about staying true to your values and treating everyone with respect, even when it's not reciprocated. Barron Trump, in that brief yet impactful moment, showed the world that wisdom and character aren't confined by age. In the aftermath of the exchange, the narrative surrounding Barron Trump began to shift. For years, he had been shielded from public life by his parents, who had emphasized the importance of his privacy. Despite the intense spotlight that accompanied being the son of a president, Barron rarely appeared in the media, and when he did, it was usually without any commentary or engagement. This moment, however, revealed a side of him that the public hadn't seen before, a young man with a strong moral compass and a willingness to speak out when it truly mattered. The media response to the event was polarizing. Some outlets praised Barron for his poise, highlighting how unusual it was for someone his age to handle such a high-pressure situation with such clarity. They commended him for not succumbing to anger or resorting to insults, but instead articulating his thoughts in a way that encouraged dialogue. Others, however, doubled down on their criticism, suggesting that his intervention was either coached or reflective of the Trump family's media strategies. Regardless of the opinions, one thing was clear. Barron had left an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed the exchange. The moment also sparked a broader conversation about the treatment of political families in the media. Many people began questioning the ethics of targeting a First Lady's initiatives, or, by extension, involving their children in public criticism. Barron's defense of his mother brought to light the often overlooked human side of political families, reminding people that behind the titles and headlines, they are still individuals with relationships, emotions, and personal struggles. Within the Trump family, the event became a bonding moment. Melania reportedly expressed her pride in Barron privately, calling him wise beyond his years. Former President Donald Trump, who has always been vocal about his family, later commented during an interview saying, "Barron is a remarkable young man. He's smart, thoughtful, and has the kind of strength that's hard to teach. I couldn't be prouder of how he handled himself." The public's newfound admiration for Barron wasn't limited to political circles. Social media users from across the political spectrum shared their thoughts, with many applauding his courage and eloquence. Some even noted that he had shown more maturity than many seasoned politicians when confronted with criticism. The hashtags #BarronSpeaks and Respect the Family began trending on platforms like Twitter, sparking discussions about the role of children in the political spotlight. In schools and households, Barron's words were discussed as an example of standing up for loved ones in a respectful way. Teachers used the incident to talk about values like empathy, respect, and the importance of constructive criticism. Barron's defense of his mother inadvertently turned into a teaching moment for many, showing that even in disagreements, it's possible to engage in meaningful dialogue without resorting to personal attacks. For Barron himself, life largely returned to normal after the media storm died down. Those close to him described him as someone who preferred to stay grounded and avoid unnecessary attention. However, the incident had undoubtedly changed how he was perceived. No longer just the youngest member of the Trump family, he was now seen as a young individual with a voice of his own, one that many were eager to hear more from in the future. As time went on, the story of Barron silencing the reporter became a part of the broader narrative of his family's time in the public eye. It was a moment that transcended politics, reminding people of the importance of standing by their principles and defending those they care about. Barron's response was not just a defense of his mother, but a call for decency and respect in a world that often seems to lack both. Looking back, it's easy to see why the moment resonated so deeply with so many. In an era dominated by division and hostility, Barron's calm, thoughtful approach was a breath of fresh air. It showed that even in the most polarized environments, there is still room for kindness, understanding, and a willingness to listen. And for Barron Trump, it was a moment that defined him not just as a member of a high-profile family, but as an individual with a voice and values worth paying attention to. 5 weeks turned into months. The memory of Barron Trump's encounter with the reporter remained fresh in the minds of many. It wasn't just another fleeting viral moment, it became a symbolic instance of standing firm in the face of adversity. Discussions about Barron's maturity and composure extended into various platforms, podcasts, television talk shows, and even academic discussions. Analysts noted how his approach highlighted the value of emotional intelligence, particularly in situations that are designed to provoke a reaction. The incident also brought renewed focus to the broader issue of how the families of political figures are treated in public discourse. Advocacy groups and individuals across different political affiliations began pushing for more respectful boundaries when it comes to public figures' children. Many pointed out that while public figures choose the spotlight, their families, especially their children, often do not. Barron's moment of speaking up reminded people of this distinction and reignited conversations about ethical journalism and responsible commentary. Interestingly, Barron's choice to step into the fray also shifted perceptions of him among younger audiences. Teenagers and young adults, who are often dismissed in serious conversations, found inspiration in Barron's ability to articulate himself and stay composed. Memes, TikToks, and videos analyzing his responses began circulating widely, with many of his peers hailing him as an unexpected role model. If Barron can stand up for what's right in front of cameras, reporters, and an entire room of strangers, we can do the same in our own lives, one viral post read, garnering millions of likes and shares. At the same time, Barron's action placed Melania's Be Best initiative back in the spotlight. Critics and supporters alike revisited her work with fresh eyes. What had previously been dismissed by some as performative was now being reassessed as a genuine effort to tackle difficult issues, particularly in the realms of cyberbullying and mental health. The irony wasn't lost on many. Melania, whose work focused on promoting kindness online, was being defended by her son in an act of kindness and respect. The connection was too poignant to ignore, and it gave the initiative a second wind in terms of public interest. Behind closed doors, sources close to the Trump family revealed that Barron's response had strengthened his already close relationship with his mother. Melania had always been fiercely protective of her son, ensuring that he had as normal a childhood as possible despite the unique circumstances of his upbringing. After the event, those who knew her noted how deeply touched she was by his willingness to step into the spotlight to defend her. It was a rare, heartfelt moment of familial solidarity that showcased the bond between mother and son. Meanwhile, the reporter at the center of the incident faced backlash from multiple angles. While some defended their right to ask tough questions, others criticized their approach, labeling it as unnecessarily antagonistic. Faced with mounting criticism, the reporter eventually issued a public statement, attempting to justify their line of questioning. However, the damage to their reputation had already been done. The exchange with Barron had exposed a lack of tact and professionalism, leaving many questioning their journalistic integrity. For Barron, life went on as usual, or at least as close to usual as possible for someone in his position. Despite the overwhelming attention, he chose not to engage further with the media, instead focusing on his studies and personal interests. Insiders described him as humble and grounded.